So Ralph, Robert, Joshua,
Yes, ma'am.
that's you, okay.
Yep.
Clayton,
Oh, we got 6 chairs up here. That might be why.
oh, that's what's throwing me off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
ma'am.
right, so.
Okay.
It is 5:30. And can we have somebody be the acting chair until the chair is appointed?
I will do it.
Okay, thank you.
Gonna call the meeting to order.
Commissioner.
Excuse me? Oh.
Hi.
Hello. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. 5:31,
5:30.
5:30? Okay, I was close. So 5:30. Are we gonna do the public comments?
Yes.
Okay,
And so we actually have none this evening, so we can go ahead and move to item number 3, signing a statement of officer.
okay, we're gonna no public comments, so we are going to move signing of statement of officer for new board members. And I think we only have one, and that would be Robert Savory.
Yes, and Mr. Savory, if you can go ahead and sign your statement of officer, please. Okay, now that you've signed your statement of officer, it's time to be sworn in. Please, at this time, stand up and raise your right hand, hold it up high, and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Robert Savory,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of
I'll faithfully execute the duties of
Building and Standards Commissioner
Building and Standards Commissioner
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You may be seated. Thank you.
I gotta sign the other one.
Yes, you may sign the oath of office now.
Okay, on to agenda number 5, public hearings. We don't have any. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Approval of minutes of previous board meetings. We have any?
We do, and they're located on the packet in front of you. And I actually did have a typo where it said on the very end where the acting chair signed. It says Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I've gone ahead and changed that, so the minutes that you all will approve will be the updated minutes for the.
Do we have copies of it?
It's the exact same thing, except for it says acting chair of the Building and Standards Commission and not the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I don't have anything in my packet.
It should be, right?
Oh, okay. Third.
It should be there on the data.
Oh, no, you don't have
I
that.
don't have anything. I just got a whole bunch of things want me to sign.
Yeah.
Right there. Thank you.
So then down here where it says my name acting chair, that needs to be corrected.
Yes, and I have already made that correction.
Okay.
I printed it myself, it is long.
Okay. Do I have a motion for accepting the changes to the minutes? from the last meeting.
I'm supposed to accept the meeting minutes from last meeting.
Do I have a second?
Ready.
You do? Okay. It's been seconded. Oh, we're going to move on to item. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Were you in favor?
I didn't think we voted.
Okay, yeah, that was the vote.
Okay, I didn't think that we voted unless we.
So,
No, they don't.
Yeah, they can vote. with
well,
their-
they do,
Access.
because of the change.
Only only in the absentee of one of the main.
And there was a change in ordinance, so you do vote.
Okay, when
So we
is
can
that?
discuss that further. I
Okay,
actually
we
sent
need
an
to-
email
Yeah,
today, and I can discuss that at
When it comes to-
item 7B, it's discussion items.
okay, so discussion item 7A. Discussion with the building official regarding commissioner's role versus city staff roles. Okay. What is it you need?
Just since we're little new, I'm newer out here and we're kind of starting this, I think, since 2019. 2020, between our last.
No, we started.
2016 is when we started.
Yeah, okay. No, just looking through the ordinances and what we have as far, and thank y'all for serving on this commission, definitely. You know, our job, yours and ours, is to promote the life, health, safety of the citizens and visitors of Alpine. But just looking this, and I know we've only been here one meeting over, just want to get kind of what your responsibilities are compared to ours. And with me being a city representative, it would be our duty to bring our cases to the commission. And, you know, just trying to clear the air, and this is an open discussion, not more of a presentation. So feel free to ask any questions, but I noticed one of the bigger things I saw last time is the discussion about who has the right to get on private property if we notice any life, health, safety. Just want to reiterate, with me being a representative, which was in our ordinance here, I don't know if y'all have that in front of you. City of Alpine designates the building official as the appropriate official to present all cases to you. That would put me as the only one that would be responsible to be able to get on
Yes,
property.
yes.
So, you know, y'all see anything out there, y'all can come to us at our permitting department, file a complaint form. Or if it's something like that, say, we say, Mr. Pete, you see something that's fixing to collapse or something, definitely
Have one more?
contact us first, but just kind of want to reiterate, let us, building services, Jessica and I, be more hands-on, boots on the ground. We find what we deem is life, health, safety violations, rating if it is an urgent matter or just substandard, like we were talking about last meeting. Windows on the second floor, that's not really as urgent as if you're fixing to see a building collapse, but it's just a give and take. But it would be us, me as the representative of Alpine, to present our cases to y'all, and y'all's role is to vote on that, repair, alter, demo.
Yes.
But I just, you know, want to make sure we're all on the same page. on
Now,
that.
the only thing that we would like
Okay,
from you is when it gets to the point where the case, the property, the whatever, the problem comes before us,
Mhm.
we would like to have an address. We drive by. Everybody drives by and gets their own opinion. You know, because sometimes pictures don't do justice. You know, you can't see everything in a picture.
no, understand.
And,
Are
and
you asking, so if I present my case to you at this time right now, say for instance, I just have one for you right now, you would have already wanted to go by there first, or if
Yes.
that's something,
yes,
and I just not sure.
It's-
how our
it's just-
procedures, if we could
yes,
do
ma'am.
a vote on that.
That is the part of the board. That's not a responsibility. The responsibility of the code enforcement office is to present to you all.
Yes,
Your job.
yes.
Your job is not to go out and see if it does. Your job is to determine whether the information he provides you falls within the scope of what's in your paperwork of why it's not say.
Of what he submits.
Right, so
So-
what he submits.
I would have to present sufficient
I'm
information.
not gonna present on 7C, but also, when I present on 7C, I'm gonna explain to y'all that y'all are sort of standing in the role of the city council in the sort of being the judges of whether something is substandard and needs to be remediated.
Mhm,
So in that sense, you're acting like judges.
mhm.
Judges the facts of whether what the building official has presented to you is sufficient to for y'all to say, okay, fix it.
Mhm.
And remember that judges aren't supposed to go do their own investigation. There's judges are supposed to be
Okay.
in a tribunal like this
Mhm.
and have stuff presented to you. So
Okay.
that what's presented to you, somebody could say, well, what was presented to you? Well, he's gonna have his packet that was presented to you. Also, the property owner can, if you wanted to go to court or appeal it or something, they can say that these are the facts that were presented to you. So the idea of y'all going out and looking makes y'all the investigator as well as the judge. And his staff is the investigator,
Mhm.
and y'all are the judges to see if he's brought you enough. If you don't like what he's brought you, you
Mhm.
don't think it's enough, tell him.
Okay,
We're not gonna make a
gotcha.
decision because we don't see enough. That's y'all's business to do that.
Well, we have a recourse to be able to send it back to him
You do,
as far as the,
you do. If you don't think you've got enough, but I wanna.
So we
follow
don't,
up
have-
with-
we
with
don't
the-
need to worry about going out and
No,
doing.
what the city council was saying, because if you did, then that's gonna be improper, and that's gonna let a property owner say that y'all are going beyond your role as commissioners.
Okay.
Because once again, as commissioners on this, y'all are being the judges of the fact of whether or not there's a building that's substandard and not meeting the conditions that are set forth in the Alpine.
Right,
ordinance.
because we had one of those where we were brought pictures, the owner showed up. And it was just a big mess. You know, we voted to tear it down and she wanted the city to repair it at their cost and not at her cost, but at city cost.
Anyway, I'll get more, I'm not trying to step on
No,
your,
No,
No.
all means.
your business there, but I did want to interject that y'all shouldn't be the
Okay,
investigators.
so we need as much info as possible.
And that would be my responsibility
You
to
don't think you got
provide
enough
that.
information, tell me.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, if you can't make a correct call, or if you feel that more information is needed, I could definitely provide more.
right,
But that would be our goal, is to provide all that information to you in law, code, and ordinance, to have that case if we do deem it unsatisfactory, we ought to make the correct decision, whether it be a
Okay.
favor.
In court here in Alpine, Judge Cano or Judge Ferguson, they're not supposed to go out and investigate a crime or go look at the crime scene and figure something out on their own. They're supposed to get it brought to them, so it's all done officially.
okay, so do they walk into their court and everything's right there? They don't have a chance to review?
Well, of course they review it. That's their job, is to review it,
Okay,
but it's not their job to go on their own and investigate. That's the job of other people.
okay, got it.
And we would have all our evidence presented, whether it be citations, letters, any recourse communication we have with homeowners or property owners.
Okay,
We would have all
prior
that
to our next
presented,
meeting.
photographs, everything would be presented to y'all in one
Okay,
package.
got it. Understand.
Point of clarity for me, because that's my second meeting, but you said go out to versus on to. So Texas is a private property state. So we don't, anybody, either of you as well, we don't go onto property without prior notification, hopefully with police
Correct.
escort.
Yes, and that is
Just need-
something that could happen. Of course, we would like 100% compliance. Before that, that could happen. It's happened in other cities.
Again,
But
I would
no,
just
we-
caution you. for
No,
your
we
own
don't.
safety,
No, I'm just.
Don't go without a police officer.
Correct. No,
Okay.
we won't step foot on property. With that, we would make our best judgment outside, or if we were granted permission or any concerns after a letter was mailed, they want to meet us there, then we do our own investigation. But no, we won't step on private property just without permission.
And there's processes that can be done by me to get a judge order to go on it.
Right.
Search warrants could be provided if need be, hopefully not, but we do have that avenue if needed.
I just moved here from a bigger city and people start shooting when you come on their property.
You and
They
me
do
both.
here too.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah.
So,
But most of the properties we will hear in the past, they're so bad that these people never step on property and they get pictures pretty much of everything. So it's pretty open. in most cases.
The properties are pretty much abandoned when they
Right.
come to us.
correct.
You should have some authority to go onto property lines being the building official through the city, correct?
Yeah, if it,
He has to
in,
have
in certain
probable cause.
instances in our IRC, International Property Maintenance Code, and what Mr. Ponton was saying, there are certain avenues we could pursue. And it also depends on if there is an urgent life, health, safety, mean if it is occupied or things of that sort, but, you know, like they were
You'll have to
saying.
remember that your some cities don't have a commission like this. And
Mhm.
so the issue of dilapidated buildings goes to the city council.
Mhm.
But if you're a property owner and your building is dilapidated or falling down, the city has the right to do things like order you to fix it. And if you don't fix it, the city has the right to go in there and tear it down. But and then they put a lien on the property. That means, you know, it costs the city money to tear it down and haul away the trash. That lien goes on the property. So that's, we have to follow a process so that the city does all that legally.
Uh-huh.
And so that the property owner then has, if the city doesn't want the city to do that, there's a process for the property owner to try to sue and say, I don't want it. But we have to follow that process and sort of due process under the US and Texas laws to make sure that we give the property owners the rights they're entitled to. And that if the city takes action like tearing down something, that we have all our ducks in a row to be able to have done that and not get sued for doing something wrong. There's an important case out of the city of Dallas from about 10 years ago, where the city of Dallas went in and tore down a building, and they thought they'd given all the right notices, but they messed up and tore it down like 10 days too soon. They got sued and had to pay a lot of money to the property owner
Mhm.
because the property owner sort of got you because they didn't quite follow the rules exactly. So these rules are sort of strictly applied against cities, so we have to make sure we A, B, C, D, E.
Right,
That was on our paperwork last year, that case.
Yeah,
and we have
Mhm.
certain procedures we follow, certain checklists through, what's this now dated? Jessica and I would have everything in a certain code case for everyone.
Again, I myself have pulled several permits, but I haven't looked at them closely. When I pull a permit, I give you permission to come and inspect the work,
Correct,
right?
yes.
Okay, so that's included.
Open
in-
permit does give us a
Okay.
right to go on your property.
Okay.
That's
All right.
correct.
Thank you.
But again,
okay.
we're not
Any
gonna try
other
to be heavy-handed, but we
questions?
want to
Still
let
going?
them say,
Still got more.
so,
Okay.
No,
You're done?
That
yeah,
it?
I'm
Okay.
done. Do y'all have any questions? I know we're opening up the 7B discussion, anything. I'm here to answer anything y'all have and try to stay on the same page.
Well, I think the information that you gave us clarifies, our duties and our roles and what we need to be doing, so. We appreciate you letting us know, and then that way once we get that information from you, we can make.
Make your best informed decision. And again, I'm definitely open to if we need more information, we have no problem doing it.
We used to have a pamphlet of what our voting laws are for this. It's like to demolish, repair, remove.
Uh-huh.
There's a pretty good sized packet. I don't know if we still have access to any of those.
Well,
It
I
might
doubt.
be good for some of the newer members and stuff
Mhm.
like that to go over some of that.
Yeah, I haven't looked in this packet for this book we got here, so.
I might
this
have
is
them all.
it's not in here, it's in the.
Yeah, this is-
building. It's in the-
There was
Way back.
one problem. And Rod, maybe you can answer this for us. I know the one problem that we had and the city staff had was when we send out notices to the property owners, they keep getting returned, undeliverable, and then come to find out that the people inherited the property but never transferred it to their names from the deceased person because the taxes are cheaper. So that ties our hands.
And it's,
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I'm showing-
You're able to give notice to the property owner of record.
Which would be the person paying the taxes?
Yes.
because it's under here on the code and ordinances, appendix C zoning, section 9, under the BNS commission. If it's on 4, let's see, take that back. We're gonna go section C. Under 2 and 2 again, when the municipality mails a notice in accordance with section property owner, lien holder or registered agent in the USPS service returns the notices refused or unclaimed, the validity of the notice is not affected, and the notice is considered delivered.
Okay,
So if the city sends notice to the address and to the property owner according to the Brewster County Appraisal District and the Brewster County Tax Office, they've satisfied the ordinance.
okay. So even if the property is not legally in the taxpayer's name, we can still get the taxpayer to,
Well,
Step up.
It's up to if somebody dies, it's up to the kids to change it.
uh-huh,
So the property stays in the name of the dead person until somebody changes it, but it's not up to the city to do that for somebody.
right, right,
It would be due diligence on their part, but we did our part according to Texas law to notify them.
So it still can come before us.
Yes,
okay,
the city will.
Provided you present it to this board, you've already done all of those.
We
processes.
should have,
So things are.
Yeah.
taken care of, make sure all the processes. are-
and we would have records as evidence, as I would present that to you. On this date, we mailed, we got this return. Hopefully, we get 100% compliance. That's our goal. It,
Hold
but,
your breath.
you know, correct. But we would have all that presentation, date, stamps, everything.
yeah.
That
Okay, I
would be
was just wondering if
presented
there
as
was
evidence for you.
something we would get in trouble for if we forced their
No.
hand.
Y'all's responsibility is just making the final decision here in
Yeah.
order to secure, repair, remove, release.
Y'all's
Mhm.
role is to basically provide due process and due diligence for the city to just make the decision on whether something's substandard or not.
Okay, got it.
And it's up to them to bring it to y'all to say we sent all these notices, here's the pictures. That had been fixed up, it's a danger, whatever they say.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Are we open to questions?
Sure.
Yes,
Okay.
It is.
I had 2 questions. We were bumping into previously. Section 9. A. Item number 2. No, I'll go to that differently. I apologize. Section D. Number 4. What page? We're on an
It's a-
insert.
An insert into our packet.
Okay. Building standards commission.
D4. It states here, it says, if residential structure is removed or demolished pursuant to this article, any and all accessory buildings located on the same property shall be removed and demolished regardless of structural condition. We run into that
Now,
big time
I was
because
told the ordinances had changed on that.
this is right there, July 22nd, or July 26, 22. That is the newest thing I can find on the internet.
Right.
And that has not changed. It's still word for word.
Because we had that discussion at the last meeting.
We've run
Yeah.
into it numerous times because the properties have a trashed out building on it, but the people are living in a beautiful home. And we were told, stop.
No, on this one, this means primary residential structure. If a residential structure is removed, you're in a home, but you have a brand new storage building out there, but your home is dilapidated. If you have to, if you're ordered to demolish the home, no matter what condition any accessory structure is on property, that has to be removed. Now, vice versa, if we have an accessory structure that needs demolished and the home is in perfect condition, the home does not have to go. And the reasoning is because we're not allowed by law, code, and ordinance to have any accessory structures on your property without a primary residence before.
But that's not what this is saying.
This
it says
if a
all,
resi-
and
Yeah,
any-
if a residential structure is removed or demolished, you have to take everything with it. It doesn't
Okay.
say vice versa.
Okay,
Okay.
this was a business structure, 2 times that we run into this bump on. So it would not apply because it was a business structure. Is that correct or what?
I don't have any, I'm just trying to think.
this
was
is
a-
for resident, but we do business also.
Correct.
I think what they're talking about is the old barber shop of the Ramos Barber Shop. The home is located behind, it's on Murphy Street. It's located behind the building that was actually a barber shop. So it is on the property, but it was a separate structure.
Okay. How is, and I'll probably have to look into that. Thank y'all for bringing it up, just to see how. it's
Okay, we
going.
can say
Was that
nothing,
ever classified as a
You know,
business?
if it's.
we can't say nothing about
We can't.
we can't say anything more about it. That's all the information I can give. Because it's, we'll probably see it again.
We can't narrow it down.
Right,
I'll look into that.
and
and
please.
I'll
So
definitely-
Rod, do you have an input on that?
It's an unusual situation and I just, I need to have it, look at it, and show me the, sort of what's on the property, what's on the plat. And then I'll try to.
I'll look into that.
Walls up to the building is shared by the next building, which will
Next
be
building.
that B and B.
Okay.
Is shared, one of the walls is shared. Make sense?
It's not
Wait.
physically. but
Yeah,
close.
it's not,
The,
it's not this far apart.
that's an unusual
Do that, you're gonna have to do-
situation and
Right.
he's just gonna have to look at it and I'm gonna have to look at the
Because there
ordinance.
was 2 properties that we
And
had.
it might be
that popped
something
up.
that might have a one-off kind of solution to, I don't know.
Right. I'll definitely look into
But I don't-
that
Okay.
for
I don't
y'all.
want to give an opinion off the top of my head.
Yeah.
We understand.
There's a grocery store and I think it's on Diego.
We're not supposed to talk about property specific.
No,
Okay, but what I was gonna say was the residence is actually on the same property,
Yeah,
but behind the
that's-
grocery store.
We
That's the
already, we've been there too.
Okay,
And I'll do more research in regards to whether it requires zoning laws and whatnot, what our ability to do as citizens as representative Alpine.
Remember, he's
commission.
supposed to bring the information to us.
I'll
We're supposed
do
to
my
decide off of
diligence
his
on that.
information. If we want more information, we can send it back to him. Am I correct?
yes,
Thank you, sir.
yes. Okay,
That's a good question. Thank you.
okay, so we are, any more questions?
Did you have a separate section? I know you brought up this 4. Hopefully I clarified that for you in regards to these residential properties. Or
Well-
if the home needs to be demoed, everything else on that property has to be demoed. But if an accessory needs to be demoed and the house is
Well,
compliant,
you're gonna, when you run into the business side, homes are with the businesses.
Mhm.
And that is gonna be
okay,
it's a totally different animal.
okay. And I'll definitely look into our law code and ordinance
Yeah.
with that as well. Mr.
Yeah,
Klein.
you're
And
probably
it could
gonna,
be a situation where the home really isn't a home legally. It's just a business property, somebody might be living in it.
Then that would
So
come under
there's
zoning law.
other things to look at.
you'll probably need to work with him on the properties direct,
I will.
because it's a snake pit. It was 2.5 years ago.
More like people been working out of their garage, kind of what one of the ones I think we're talking about. It was never, I don't think it's ever classified as business. They're illegally running a business out of their home. Yeah.
If it's a business, legally business, it would have had to be zoned for a commercial. If
So
it's
for
not,
commercial would have to have the CO or.
If-
else we would-
And-
One of them was,
So on the section 9, that's talking about the building standards commission and their duties. But if you read in section 18, the article X dangerous buildings, it gives you the definition of what dangerous buildings
Right.
are.
Mhm.
And then also it talks about the abatement of dangerous buildings. And if you read that section 18.2 and 18.2, it talks about all structures, it's not just talking about residential buildings, just so you know.
Right.
Okay, this one is based off of if it's a residential lot, so if you go into a vacant lot after something's been demoed, everything should be removed on that for residential reasons. But this is talking about all structure, this isn't just about residential, so this is clarifying that any structure on a property that is dangerous can be removed. If you read that.
I'm not sure if nothing else packet, but it's in our ordinance. It's on our
But I would
website.
definitely recommend reading that section 8.
Yeah, well, I've read it all. But it's that we're basically under the building and standards limitations.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to go in. That's.
To
you
your
guys.
ordinances, we're not allowed.
That's your guys. You bring it to us and you quote those ordinances, then we can reference them, fine. But the thing is, we're limited to section 9.
Right.
Am I correct, Don?
But yeah, that's just showing us what process, what
Right.
policies and
Yeah, they-
procedures we would use to bring it to you.
How can we-
But you guys really do need to know all of the ordinances that pertain to building and standards, not
Right.
just section 9. So 18 gives you the background to understand where building services is coming from.
Right.
And to understand if he comes and says, no, this is our ordinance, and you're like, okay, and it's not our ordinance, you wouldn't know if you don't know those ordinances. But understanding what we define as a city, as a building that can be condemned, or what is unsafe, or what is, sorry, I can't think of all the terms right now. You need to understand that as well. So I would highly recommend understanding 18, because those are also the guidelines in which we have.
Okay, previously, when they brought up properties and they quote an ordinance in 18 or whatever the case may be, they've attached a copy of that page of that ordinance. So we could stop in a moment and they would give us time to review that. Not saying that we don't need to know it. I've read it, back and forth. But the thing is that's what they have done previously, is give us a page filler per
All that
se.
information can be provided, but I really would highly recommend that the commissioner make a decision on a property. That, I mean, you do look at those buildings.
Yeah.
Because that's the direction our building service is going, that's the guidance from the council as well.
Right.
And because there may be something in there that is very questionable, and it's like, hey, you know what, this needs to be discussed, and maybe we do need to make a change to an ordinance. And as a commissioner, you want to make sure your decisions are based on things that are one, sound, legal, and yes, we have brought consequences as well. But those are your tools to make that final.
That's what in that package I was mentioning earlier had all that information in there.
Yes.
Um,
And I would like to stress that there's a lot of you that have been on and serving for years. It wasn't necessarily done
Correct.
procedurally right before, so that we can stay away from previously, this is the way we did it.
Right, and that
Or
was
this is what we did. That's why all this information is being provided to you. That is what we want to know. That is what the city has decided, the city manager, city attorney, building supervisor has decided this is what we're going to do. So we need to go ahead and go with these orders. We need all the information that's been provided.
Okay, so do we have section 18 then?
Then-
I can't find it in any of our stuff we've
No, I
got.
think that was in the presentation.
Yeah. I
The
can get
last-
to that
your-
further.
like
I can
you
show
said,
y'all how to
the
access
person.
that as well.
And then
The-
paper.
Some final comments I want to make about y'all is y'all are getting to understand now that y'all are sort of the final review
Mhm.
on a legal process the city goes through to try to tell a private property owner the property's messed up, it's dilapidated, you got trash, whatever the problem is, and they haven't fixed it, and that you keep, the city starts sending more letters and trying to do more with that property owner. Y'all are sort of the final group that makes the final determination that that property is not up to standards, it can be, taken down or whatever. And so you can imagine that in Texas, like you mentioned, Texas is a private property rights state. There's been a lot of litigation oh, you're unfair, you tore down my house and you shouldn't have. So people sue over these things. So we want to make sure that all the right processes are followed by y'all, because the city's setting up a building and standards commission has delegated to the commission this role. Instead of having the city council do it, y'all do it. And y'all hear the evidence and y'all make the decision. And so by doing that, we're following the rules and laws that Texas gives us to make these decisions and tell somebody, okay, we're tearing down your house and we're gonna put a $6,000 lien on it, on your property. So.
Any other questions?
The Article X was in the last month's packet.
Last month's packet?
It was included in last month's.
Who?
The Article X dangerous buildings, the definitions and.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that,
So,
and I never got an email either.
I think we do, but again, like I invited you previously,
I looked-
maybe
There's one thing that you sent to me that I got, and that's a list of all the people on the boards. That's it.
I think they're even good on the.
I never got it.
this packet should
Can
be
you
from last
resend
week
it,
also.
please? If you make another,
Okay, that one.
because I never got it.
It's in that same one.
Okay,
It's article.
okay, we got that. Okay. I do have that one. Okay. Okay, so we're on to 7B. Discussion between commissioners and city staff regarding procedural items, questions, and or recent building standards related items, including updates on current endeavors and projects.
Alrighty, thank you. So there has been some updates to the ordinances, which is why there's some confusion. Ordinance 2022-10-03 was passed on November 1st by City Council, which made amendments to everything dealing with boards, commissions, and committees. The ones off the top of my head that impact you all the most would be, we actually went in and removed section 9 from zoning, and we moved it to chapter 18, building and building regulations, because it makes more sense. So basically, chapter 18, you go to article 10, you have now a division 1, and that's going to list the standards that are already there for the building services department to follow. And then you now have a division 2, which is essentially section 9 moved up to chapter 18 with small amendments. One of the amendments is that we no longer have alternate positions. We do have 7 voting members. And everybody has a vote. We did add a council member to serve ex officio, and those appointments, the council appointments, are going to be made at the next meeting on December 6th. And the council member will not have a vote. They're just going to attend the meetings and serve on the board as far as ex officio capacity.
Be an advisor. type.
Did y'all have any questions
Be able to
about
take-
that?
Be able to take information from this group back to council if council has questions on it.
Okay, so we won't be presenting what we've done to the city council about once every, what was it, 3-4 months?
3 months.
Is what we used to do.
You'll still report tonight.
Every 3 months.
It would be either quarterly, depends on how many meetings you have or what you have going on, if you need to speak more, but it currently can be scheduled for.
Okay, previously I went up every 4 months,
Okay,
3-4 months.
And so essentially, the ordinance did pass. It's already in effect, which is why I did say that you will have a vote from now on. To view that ordinance on our online code, you would, from the page that you were on earlier, that y'all have a printout of, you would just click the home button. And once you're there, you'll see a section that says adopted ordinances not yet codified. And there will be a copy of the new ordinance. It just, the codifier hasn't had time to actually go in and make those changes. I expect that to be done by early January. And I actually sent you all an email earlier today with a copy of the handbook. It's a digital copy. A high-level overview. Yes, it's that handbook right there.
Okay.
A high-level overview, just a simplified view of the changes that the ordinance made. And I did send something else. The ordinance itself. I sent that to y'all as well.
Okay, so do we
That
have, a-
must be the third item that I didn't get a chance to open up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, of course, you can go in and see exactly what was amended. It's a long ordinance, it's 52 pages. Multiple chapters were amended, but if you read through it carefully, you can see where the changes were made. Any questions?
can I get a printout of that?
Sure. Thank you.
If it's 52 pages. Please
Print
print out
out.
also.
Sure. Anybody else? Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. 7C, discussion with city attorney regarding legal issue.
We may have addressed most of these in our previous discussion. But I was trying to explain to y'all that I've represented other cities that these matters are presented to the city council under Texas law and under rules of due process. Before you take action on somebody's private property, you have to have a hearing. You have to have, you know, a process that the city's gone through. In our case, it's with the building official and notices and things of that nature. So the city's delegated that to y'all. So if y'all follow the process, then it's going to be legal. Final steps the city may take if they have to tear something down or impose a lien on the property, clean it up. So that's what y'all's role is. So y'all are sort of acting like a delegated city council or a delegated quasi judicial type role. That's what y'all are doing. And y'all have the right to ask the building official to make sure you get the information you can to make a decision. I think most of the decisions are going to be pretty easy because I think most of the things brought are going to be, that thing should have been torn down 10 years ago. You know,
Rod, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When we do the packets, are we gonna have backup documentation, including the address, pictures and things of that nature before the commissioners attend the meeting? Because I did have a commissioner that was concerned that they shouldn't see anything until the day of the.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them getting information in advance, Gio. I think y'all have already heard the discussion about not going out and doing your own investigation.
Yes.
And not trying, you're not supposed to make a decision except based upon what's brought to you. Okay, so if y'all can follow that rule, and you know, if it's, you know, sometimes the packet might be just 2 or 3 pages because half a dozen photographs tell the story. Sometimes it might be more complicated.
Since we are talking about people's private residence, is the steps exactly the same if it's a homestead versus if it's not a homestead?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just the ability to place a lien on it or not might change slightly. But that's not something for y'all to deal with. That would be something for me and the city staff to deal with after you make a decision.
So no ripple in the
No.
steps. Okay, thank you.
Bob, did you have a question?
Yes. One other question I have, I wasn't here last time because I didn't know about it. Anyways, people sending emails back and forth, talking about properties that possibly will end up on this commission.
And when you say people sending emails, who are you referring to?
I'm not going to say anybody's name. I got an email in about a possible property that may end up on this.
If you get,
I basically deleted it, but I had to read some to figure out what it was about.
my recommendation, well, if some citizen gives you an email, because they know you're on this commission, you should refer it back to them, send the email to them. Because it's up to them to go investigate something, decide if something's really bad, and you haven't done anything about it. So that could be a prod to them to go investigate something.
Rod,
Okay.
I would highly recommend just saying thank you for your email. I have forwarded it to the appropriate person. And just make it straight, taking care of it and going to the.
So that makes it clear, you're not taking any action on it.
But then, okay, because I got that, and a lot of information. I didn't read it, but if it would have come in, for me to answer it, doesn't that
Don't-
say I'm accepting that information?
I wouldn't answer it any more than what Megan said. I forwarded your information to the appropriate person.
Okay,
Right before it is the building official. And just, it's
And don't-
really simple, don't say anything else. If they respond again, I would just automatically hit.
My question too, I've got a phone call after this last meeting. I'm pretty sure it's one of the trailers on here. It was on like, I would buy cactus somewhere over there. Lady wanted me a price to tear it down. I told her, I was like, I'm not sure, but I think I'm on that board. I cannot touch it. Give her some names, but do I need to tell you guys about that?
No,
I don't want, I'm not taking any jobs off.
on something like that, you don't have to tell us, but if somebody's referring a bad structure to you, do the same thing we just said.
Yeah.
Pass it on to the building official.
I get calls to work on them. or-
Because the building
So,
officials,
yeah.
code enforcement, they should have a list of all the qualified, correct? People that could demolish
We do that.
the buildings or repair or haul off or whatever needs to be done. Is that correct?
And yeah, Mr. Shute is on that list because he's a registered contractor. with the city.
Okay,
So if you find it to be a conflict of interest,
Mhm.
you need to basically kind of say, you know what, let me refer this to the building official who has that. I'm afraid this may be a conflict.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, I'm not gonna take any jobs on that we here on this board, but I did give them other names of other contractors that could do it.
And if you worked on a project and you didn't know it was gonna be something that would come to the board and then it later came to the board, you could recuse yourself as a
Yeah.
board member to take no action on that
And you
particular.
would have
I've
to
had-
fill out the appropriate affidavit with my office as well.
Okay, I have had to recuse myself before in the past on this thing as well, but okay.
We've all had.
Well, hopefully you're settling it before you even get on that board.
Yeah,
So
if it's trashy, I don't wanna mess with it anyways, all right.
As long, the affidavit is only necessary, it's part of that acknowledgement you sign.
Mhm.
If you're going to be voting on something that might pose a conflict.
So just in the instance, if we do have a trailer, not using the same instance as Mr. Sheeper, we do follow our procedures, and again, how stressed we love for is 100% compliance. They do want to look for demo contractors, they do want to comply with our recommendations, if they do contact them.
I would
They
say
will
that
never
it's
say,
not a conflict of
It's
interest
not.
until the board reviews
Right.
it. Is that right?
Right.
so you would be in the clear there, because it never came.
Okay, I knew it was on that paperwork. I'm pretty sure it's on paperwork, so that's why I don't really
If
wanna
it's
do the
on
job
there,
anyway.
paperwork that you've seen, I would consider it a conflict.
Yeah.
And you just need to file the affidavit and abstain from voting. If that's the case.
okay. You have any other statements?
I know, but if y'all have any other questions, I'm here to answer them.
Okay, okay.
But,
Um,
but y'all can see how the section 9 here, the Building and Standards Commission was the city council's decision to create y'all as a commission so that y'all get to untangle these knots and they don't have to mess with it.
yes, yes. Right, we just took one headache away from the city
City
Uh,
council.
council. That's the word I was looking for. I was saying office, I was gonna say officers, but it was like, that's not right. So, okay.
Paid to do their.
We're going to 8A, action items. Appoint the chairperson of the Building and Standards Commission. So how do we go about that?
That's a decision made by y'all and y'all can talk about it or somebody can nominate somebody or however y'all want to do that.
I
It's y'all's
would-
Business.
I would nominate Robert Savory. That's my nomination. Anybody in favor?
That's for us.
Anybody got any other nominations?
That's good with me.
We need a.
I
But
second.
if you made a motion, then somebody would have to second it, and then y'all would vote on it. And if
Okay,
it
so-
doesn't get a majority vote, then y'all could go look at somebody else.
I make a
Okay.
motion, we nominate Robert Savory as chairman. of The Building and Standards Commission.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, Robert Savers, you are our chairperson. Appoint the vice chairperson of the Building and Standards Commission. Any nominations?
I'll make a nomination. for Jerry to be co-chair or vice chairman as they have it.
A second. Motion.
Who motions?
You got a second?
You got a second?
I got a second.
But now you have to call.
Oh.
You got
for a vote.
Call vote. Okay, all in favor? Okay,
Jill, what other officers are needed?
that's it.
So
Well, there is a possibility of.
on the
secretary.
new ordinance, the board can elect to appoint a secretary. But I mean, it's up to the commission.
You're always gonna be there, aren't you?
I am.
Because we always, going back to what we used to do, we always had the city secretary was our secretary. That way we knew it was done.
But I'm happy to continue doing the minutes and whatnot.
I recommend
Really?
y'all just let thing, don't appoint one and just let him continue to do the job of doing the minutes and stuff.
Well, that's what, yes.
Okay,
That's perfect. You know what's going on.
yeah, you know what's going on. You can hold our hands too, so,
All right.
yeah,
Sounds good.
Especially if I screw up on.
okay. Appoint other officers of Building and Standards Commission,
We just decided.
that we didn't need any, do we?
So that's,
So, okay, we are going to,
do we
skip.
have to
What's,
vote in second then?
No,
Okay,
if
we
y'all
just passed.
just take no action.
No.
no action, okay. Okay, board member comments. Anybody have any comments?
I did have one comment, Andrew, when you were making your discussion, you said that you had some case or two that you wanted to discuss, or was that for later?
No, in the future.
Oh, in the
we do
future.
our case.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
I didn't know if you had a case that you need to
No,
discuss.
they're not.
Okay.
Because he has to get it posted
Okay.
and
Send
all
to us.
that,
All my procedure.
all that has to go through before we even see it.
Okay.
I do have one question, but y'all go ahead. And then,
So will that be sent to us in an email, or would that, how would we get the information prior to the meeting?
Re-ask you.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So
So, basically, in that email that I sent you, you'll see that part of the new procedures will be that board members will email the chair to add agenda items 7 days prior to the meeting by 5 p.m. And the chair's deadline to get the items to me would be 6 days prior to the meeting at 5 p.m. Once I put together the agenda and I get the backup documentation and make the packet, I'll send you all the packet via email. Generally, that's gonna take place on a Friday. So you'll have the weekend and the next few days before the meeting to review the packet. Does that answer your question?
yes, that's good information.
You gotta
Thank
get
you.
the
The
email.
packet's gonna have.
no, I don't own a computer.
The packet could have, 2 or 3 addresses with 3 or 4 places that the building officials send out all the notices, and now it's right for y'all to make a decision.
Okay, and then did the ordinances change for posting our meetings and what's going on at our the cases that we're gonna do? Because they used to, this was an old, that's why I'm asking if it's changed. 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when our meeting was, because the paper only comes out once a week. On Thursdays, our meetings are on Wednesdays, so it'd have to be posted 3 weeks prior.
But these meetings are posted on the city website. They're also posted on the front of the.
Yes, and we do still have requirements whenever
I-
the board will be, or the commission will be making a major.
Hearing
decision.
cases and stuff, yeah.
We'll have the public hearings, and those will be publicized within the timeframes of the ordinance. So
And
once
that
we
is-
get to that point, we will publicize it in the avalanche, and if we don't, well, that's not really gonna be acceptable legally, so we.
Right.
Okay,
All of
but
that.
what she's saying is previously, we had to pass things up because it didn't make the 14 days in the avalanche. You have to almost do it 3 weeks ahead of time.
And we'll follow the deadlines.
Oh,
Again,
I'm just saying that.
only particular items when you all
Yeah,
will
something to watch
be
for.
making major decisions, like ordering the demolishment of a building.
Uh-huh.
That requires a public hearing and it requires that it be publicized in the avalanche,
Mhm.
paper of record, a certain amount of time before, and we'll make sure we get that done.
And that's gonna be the Geo's responsibility to follow those deadlines.
Right.
And make sure that those have been done before they're presented to you all to be placed on the agenda.
Okay,
Once again, that's information that Mr. Devaney will be presenting to you when he does. He'll be letting you know, notice has been given, notice was posted. That's someone else's job and they'll let you know if it was done or not. And if it was not, and it's not ready, then he won't present it.
right. Okay,
Y'all are a cog in the machine and the process that has to be followed to be able to legally demolish a structure.
right.
So the city, it's important to the city that these people, Geo, all of us have followed the rules and procedures to a T. Because we want, that's what the cities want to do. We want to follow the rules.
Yes, yes,
But it's not up to y'all to have to do that until it gets to y'all.
right. I was just curious if that was part of change in ordinance or, gotcha.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
just gotta watch out for it.
okay. So any other questions? Board members' comments?
You got anything, Quinn?
Nothing I think of, no.
Okay, then I adjourn the meeting,
6:26.
6:26. Okay.
No vote?
Oh. All in favor of adjourning?
Make the motion, we adjourn. You made the motion, so I vote.
Yeah, I made the motion, so
I second the vote.
we all,
We vote?
yes, we all vote, all in favor.
All right, so what do we need to sign on these deals?